Assalamu alaikum guys and welcome back to my channel. I am here with another video about the summary of the play The American Dream, which is written by Edward Albee. It is a long one-act play structured into three major sections. But before moving further, I would like to request you all to please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you will never miss any update in future. So let's start the video. As I have already mentioned that the structure of the play is divided into three major sections. So the first section of the play deals with the family unit itself and the decision of whether grandma should be put into a nursing home or not. The second section involves the introduction of Mrs. Barker, a social worker who once worked for Bye Bye Adoption Service. The final part begins with the arrival of the young man. So let's meet our character of the play. Here are five characters: Mommy, Daddy, Grandma, young man, and Mrs. Barker. The play American Dream open in an apartment where the protagonist, Mommy and Daddy, are seated in their armchair. It seems that the couple is waiting for some expected visitor, but their guests are late, and Mommy remarks that people can get away with anything these days. Mommy want to share her story about purchasing a hat the previous day, but Daddy doesn't seems to be paying attention to his talkative wife. Mommy feels disturbed, and by taunting her husband repeatedly, she makes sure that he actually lends an ear to her. So guys, lends an ear to her means that he actually start listening to her carefully. After that, Mommy then resumes her story of hat buying, telling Daddy how happy she was with her beige hat until she met the chairwoman of her women's club, who insisted that the hat was wheat color. Mommy felt cheated and went back to the hat shop for a replacement. They insisted that the hat was not wheat but beige color, but Mommy made a scene in the shop and eventually got a new hat, and this satisfied her. She again started taunting Daddy that he never gets satisfaction in his life. Meanwhile, Mommy's mother Grandma enters from the archway loaded down with boxes large and small, neatly wrapped and tied. She doesn't seems to be very polite to her daughter, as evident from her straightforward reply to Mommy's inquiry regarding the content of the boxes. Grandma dumps her boxes at Daddy's feet and complaining how the old are not comfortable talking to anyone, as some people can be disrespectful to elderly. As Grandma goes out to fetch the rest of her boxes, Mommy recalls how Grandma has always been adept at wrapping boxes beautifully. Grandma would wrap her lunch box for school as nicely that Mommy would not have the heart to open it. It was a time when both Mommy and Grandma had a good relationship with each other, and they both were poor. Grandma would fill Mommy's lunchbox with her own uneaten dinner from the previous night, and Mommy would bring back at her lunch from school for Grandma to eat. Mommy has become rich after marrying Daddy, and she thinks she has a right to use Daddy's money. Grandma calls Mommy a tramp and recalls how she has been an opportunist since childhood, always wanting to marry a rich man. The doorbell rings and the couple thinks that the expected visitors have finally arrived. The bell rings for a second time as Daddy takes time to reconsider his decision, but Mommy is firm that they should make up their minds about whether or not to open the door. As Daddy opens the door, Mrs. Barker enters, and after having some absurdious chit chat, Grandma says that she is aware of the purpose of Mrs. Barker's arrival. As Mommy exits to the stage to fetch some water for their guest, Mrs. Barker asks Grandma to explain her visit. Grandma gives the guest a subtle hint and starts dictating a story from past. 20 years ago, a couple like mommy and daddy lived in an apartment quite like their apartment with an old woman very similar to grandma. The only difference was that they were all somewhat young. They contacted an adoption agent like Mrs. Barker at an adoption agency very similar to Mrs. Barker's Bye Bye Adoption Service and were overjoyed to receive their bumble of joy. Sorry to stop, but here I want to explain the term bumble of joy to you guys. The term bumble of joy actually refers to the child which has been adopted by daddy and mommy. The term bumble of joy is actually a child. Now, things did not turn out as planned for the couple similar to mommy and daddy. The baby or bumble did not look like either of its parents. That was manageable. But one night it cried its heart out, and its mommy said it only had eyes for its daddy. Mrs. Barker responds that in such a case, any self-respecting woman would have fetched those eyes right out of its head. Grandma tells them that the mommy actually did so, but then the baby kept its nose up in the air, and even worse. Mrs. Barker replies that in such a case, the parents should have cut off the baby's hand. Grandma tells her that they first cut off its hand and its tongue too because he called mommy with dirty names one day. Eventually, the resentful Bumble died, its parents looking for satisfaction. So that they called the adoption agent to their apartment to demand a refund. Even after this story, Mrs. Barker fails to realize its relevance and exits to fetch a glass of water for herself. The doorbell rings again, and this time a young man presents himself. Grandma announces him as an American dream. He looks familiar to Grandma. The young man explains that he is looking for a job, would do almost anything for money. Grandma asks why he is ready to do any work for money, and he replies that he must compensate for his incompleteness. Grandma asks what that means, and the young man tells her that his mother died at childbirth and he never knew his father. In birth, he came to know that he was not alone and had an identical twin from whom he was separated while still very young. The young man recalls the close bond he shared with his twin brother. Their hearts beat at the same time and their stomachs ached at the same time as they cried for feeding. After the separation, he has suffered countless unexplainable losses. He feels like his heart has been wrenched from his body and has become unable to love. A specific agony has made him incapable of physical lovemaking, and he has been unable to feel and touch as if his own hands have been removed. Grandma murmurs in pity and says that she was wrong early and never knew the young man, but probably she knew someone very much similar to him. Grandma feels that the young man is the perfect replacement for the faulty Bumble from her tale. She says that he is about to get the job he is looking for. Meanwhile, Mrs. Barker enters and Grandma introduces the young man as the van man, who has come to take Grandma away along with her boxes. As he carries her boxes outside, Grandma whispers to Mrs. Barker how she has planned to solve the dilemma of mommy and daddy. Grandma then leaves, heading toward the elevator and assuring the young man that everything will be explained to him. Mrs. Barker announces to mommy and daddy that their problem is settled and that the van man has come and taken Grandma away with all her belongings. Near tears, Mommy says that it is impossible because the Van Man is not a reality but their invention. While Daddy comforts Mommy, Grandma comes out near the footlights on the stage, visible only to the audience, looking forward to watch the events. Mrs. Barker announces that the young man is the replacement for the faulty Bumble, which pleases Mommy, who calls for a celebration. Everyone is apparently happy as they have gotten what they have been looking for. Grandma addresses the audience at last, saying that she should go now, leaving the other as they are, and bids farewell to the audience. So here the play comes to its end. I hope it will be helpful to you guys. Please comment below if you have any question regarding the topic or the play. Don't forget to like the video if you find it helpful. Stay safe and healthy.